So, what do you guys think the cost of living is here? They definitely don't have Medicare. You'd probably get the blue lung and then drop dead a year later. I enjoyed watching the Knights of Guinevere. I was a little worried it was going to have literal knights, the medieval kind, which isn't bad, but it's not my thing, and I would have been so bored and sad, especially if it was a group of dudes trying to rescue a princess. I think for the most part we've moved past that era of, being alive. I mean, Shrek cooked that storyline long ago. And there's other stories to tell. I also loved the gore with the blue coloring, is really striking, and I also love the character designs. They did cover a lot in this first episode, which surprised me at first, but then I remembered that this is a pilot, and the point of a pilot is to get the idea there and give a feel of what the show is going to be about and how it's going to go, so the execs know what you're trying to do and who you're marketing it to. So I'm assuming that if it was just a normal first episode, they would have constructed it a little differently, but otherwise it was still enjoyable, and I would like to see more. So there's a few things I noticed. The civilization/government. This is only a pilot, so I didn't expect many grand details, but I'm looking forward to finding out who is in charge on this planet. The park is the focus profit-wise, but Olivia and her dad only viewed the park as her responsibility. They didn't really say anything about the people living below, so who is responsible for all of these people living on the ground, and what is their level of interaction with these citizens? Andrea mentioned going to school with the guy they stole from, so there's some level of education system here, but it seems like if you don't choose to work for the park, or maybe the government and the park are together, the overlords, you're going to be miserable. Maybe it's like if Bob Iger decided to run for president, but he had the ambition level of a certain billionaire, so we end up building 20 more Disney parks across our country, and then if you're smart enough to build roller coasters, you get paid $50 an hour and everyone else gets $7.50. Doctors would probably go work on Mars and protest of their slashed salaries, and then if you can't afford to fly to Mars, you don't get healthcare. Anyway, the government question came up to me when we saw how old Olivia has gotten in the present time. She looks really old, like at least 85, 90, and she seems delusional, frail, like her memory is going, so she can't have that much time left. Did she have any children, or did she spend her entire life on that island putting on shows and fixing one bots every time they ran away or got damaged? When she dies, who takes over the park? Part of me thinks Gwenny just needs to be a little patient and play nice, like a sugar baby or something, for a few more years, and then she'd be totally free to wreak whatever level of havoc she deems appropriate. She's certainly capable of it. It's time to talk about Frankie and these teeth. Oh, and the drama too, that was crazy. First, I think at the moment Frankie is my favorite character, the way she can create worlds and images in her mind and get lost in the whimsy. She's just like me, for real. And I want her to get the job she wants, but I low-key feel like she would be miserable. Because we see poor Andrea got a week's work of stuff in 1 week, and she's got these bags under her eyes. That's not really the kind of work environment that's flexible for optimistic people, dreaming type of people. It's not gonna end well. They probably make you work your way up and you start on coffee deliveries. Her endless positivity, though, is a fun contrast to their environment, how pointless everything seems. Without her, the show would probably be super depressing. And now, with these teeth, when Boss threatens to remove Frankie's teeth, it nearly took me out, because now I'm started thinking about all these people who don't have teeth in their mouths, and I thought it was because of the lack of healthcare and nutrition, because it looks like they eat trash every day. But then I was like, are you guys idiots? You've been ripping your own teeth out yourselves as punishment? The dentists on Mars, remember, they can't save you. Now the drama. Fans were headcanoning Frankie as trans because they related to her character. Some saw the multiple nickname thing as a sign. Some thought because of her stature, maybe, which feels iffy because there are cis women in real life who've gotten flack for not being petite and feminine. You probably don't want to use that as an indicator, but anyway, Dana, while responding to questions people were asking about the show, corrected people on this specific interpretation, and I guess because her message was not as fluffy as it could have been, it was interpreted as a shutdown. And I understand that tensions in our society are really high right now considering trans issues, and not everyone has a safe space outside that they can be in and go to, but you can't go around yelling at people because they did not grant you the perfect reality in a TV show. She's just a person, an artist person who draws things that she likes and writes. Or maybe Dana is an angel from heaven, because the way some people were speaking to her and their responses, I would have had to delete my social media to avoid getting canceled, because there's no way you're going to talk to me like that after I was taking time out of my day to answer your questions. Those had to have been bots, because I cannot imagine being so terminally online that you just insult a creator like that. The grass is currently dying because it's autumn, so no one can touch it, and that is not helping our situation. Who's going to want to touch dry, brown, crackly weeds? My next question, chat, are Gwens a hive mind? I've been thinking about it, and is it possible that that one specific doll that we saw in the opening has been trying to escape this entire time, but she's aware of the other doll's experiences? They made multiple models for the movies, and the technology is always getting upgraded, so there had to be more than one. The way she looks so rough when Frankie finds her makes me think that it's one doll that's been fighting for decades, and the other ones we see on promos and posters are just extras made to keep up with the demand. Olivia always says, "I'll fix you," but how many fixes can you perform before time starts wearing? How far can the repairs go? Because we saw her leave a giant hole in her stomach to use as a leash, but that might have been a metaphor and not reflecting reality. And since the Gwens are capable of scanning people and reading their experiences, maybe they're all connected, and when one escapes, they will all be free. I don't know, probably thinking about this too much. I also feel like I shouldn't have watched this yet, because it has me sitting here like a clown, you know? Just like after I finished Hollow Knight, I was sitting there like, oh, Silksong? Crumbs of Silksong, waiting for an update every year. But Glitch's other shows have been able to consistently put out content, and because of that, I've decided that I'm not going to worry too much and maybe look into getting some merch to help them speed up the process. I really love the hoodie, and I'll just cry into my pillow about the shipping cost. So I've also seen people talking about how this show is like Dana's FU to Disney and giving little digs at them, and it's like an allegory for what the company has become. And if that's true, I think it's pretty cool. As someone who grew up watching Disney movies, and when you get older and you're an adult, you kind of get disillusioned by them as a company because of how they behave and the decisions they make. And so I think that's just going to add another layer of interest for this, even if it doesn't end up going fully that route. Just a little peek into that type of mindset would be interesting to me. Any kind of content in this day and age where we can make fun of companies freely, in a time where saying certain things can get you in big trouble if the state doesn't appreciate your point of view, art can be really brave and be useful for making a point. And so to end the video, in recap, show is gorgeous, anime is gorgeous, characters gorgeous. I need more, and I kind of want to try to make some fan art. With a full-time job now, I don't know what'll happen, but I am sketching and I am brainstorming, so I'm gonna try to make it work. See you next time. I don't know if it'll be in a week or not, because I don't have a schedule. Bye.